Am I crazy? Am I not crazy? That's what Kenton Gibbs is here to decide. He's the co-host of Locked On ACC, so he'll tell me whether or not my ACC power rankings are out of whack. So Kenton has no idea where I've ranked anyone. He's going to be shocked when I put Clemson dead last, and he's going to go ballistic, of course. But let's go like this, Kenton. I'll list every team, 17 of them to be exact, in order, and then right afterwards, you will say the 2 or 3 biggest things that stand out. Are you ready?
Let's do it. And by the way, I'm not above snitching to David Locke. Okay, if Clemson is dead last, I will push for legislation to start drug testing Locked On.
Okay. Clemson is first, followed by Miami, Louisville, Georgia Tech is fourth, SMU, Duke, Pitt. Nope, I forgot. I swapped those. Oh, no, I swapped them correctly. Yeah. SMU, Duke, Pitt, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, Cal, NC State, Boston College, Virginia, Florida State, North Carolina, Wake Forest, and Stanford bringing up the rear. And I swapped Syracuse and Pitt. That's who I forgot to do a little flip-flop of there. So I'll make that note in my notes. What stands out about those rankings to you, Ken? He's got a face. Here we go.
What's got you so high on Cal?
On Cal? What do you mean so high? Cal's like 11th on this list.
I don't think you understand how much turnover Cal is dealing with from last year's team. Their starting quarterback. Do you know where he is now?
He's at Indiana, Fernando Mendoza. Yeah, he left. Yep. Well, they got a new offensive coordinator. They're gonna have a new quarterback.
Jaden Ott, pretty good running back. Where's he
pretty good.
At from last year?
He's at Oklahoma.
Well, they had a running back that actually rushed for more yards than Jaden Ott last year because he dealt with a little bit of injury. Is he still at Cal?
No,
did Cal
he's not.
Any of the top 4 rushers?
No, they brought some guys in the portal. They're solid.
Here's the thing. I love Kendrick Raphael. I really do. Former NC State guy. I broke down this film. I could break down this film right now and tell you his patience as a runner, his contact balance is unique. It is not something that you see every day. I don't see how you have a new quarterback, a basically brand new wide receiver core, a defense that has been decimated by guys either leaving in the draft or graduating out, and you believe that this team is going to be middle of the pack? I'm sorry.
I've got him 10th.
10th out of 17 is about the bottom of the middle of the pack.
It is, yeah, bottom middle of that's where Cal always is, the bottom middle of the pack. Justin Wilcox finds a way.
And here's the thing, right? I'm not even trying to be a homer right now. NC State behind them is one of the most insane things I could ever think of. Okay. And I know people are going to look at me and say, Ken, that team's going to have to put up 40 a game to win ball games. I don't disagree. Other than Sean Brown, not a ton to be very optimistic about defensively in terms of proven product. I get that. CJ Bailey would be better than anybody on the field in a Cal NC State matchup this year. And that doesn't even mention Hollywood Smothers, who I think is a better player than him. And that doesn't even mention Justin Jolie, who I think is the best player in terms of skill position there. That doesn't even mention Jacarius Peak, who is a guy that I think is going to make himself some big money this year, because last year, quiet is kept on an offensive line that saw Anthony Belton get drafted. I think Jacarius Peak was the best performer all year long. So I think that that's another one that has me quite interested. And I will say this, one thing that I did like about that list that many people may disagree with, I like where you have SMU. I like that one. Mm-hmm. I like that because a lot of people are saying like, oh, SMU, if you have them outside your top 3, you're insane. You're insane to have that. Let me tell you something. SMU lost a lot. I'm sorry, but I'm very cautious of teams who lose a lot. The only redeeming factor why I don't really push very hard against people who have SMU in their top 5 is because they return one of the most electric quarterbacks in the country in Kevin Jennings. He can do it on the ground. He can do it with his arm. And his decision-making, I'm expecting to take a step forward. That is the only reason that I'm like, you know what? I could see this team being better than the 5th best team. But again, I'm not sure if right now, if Kevin Jennings is a guy that you win because of and not a guy that you win with. He has the ability to show that in spades this year. And if he is a guy you win because of, there'll be a top 3 team in this league. So, you know, I don't think that your rankings were too out of there. You know, I actually think that that's some ball knowledge by Spencer McLaughlin. I really do.
Hear that? Hear that, YouTube comments? Kenton says I'm a ball knower.
Hey, listen,
Ball knower.
I'm not saying you need to change your Twitter name to Spencer McLaughlin, knower of ball, but maybe. But in all seriousness, I think that's one of the better lists that I've seen for the ACC. I think a lot of national pundits get a lot of things wrong. Another thing that I think you had right, UNC near the bottom. I know.
Thank you.
Everybody's going to say it's because he's an NC State guy and all that good stuff. Listen, I'm trying to tell you all, I don't see a world. Was Gio Lopez the best quarterback in his conference last year?
No, but he was good.
He was good, but he was not the best quarterback in this conference last year. We can agree that, right?
Yeah. I'd have to brush up on my Sun Belt quarterback play, but I don't think he was the best guy in the league. No.
So you're not the best quarterback in a group of 5, and we're expecting you to step up to the Power 5 without much talent at receiver, and we're just expecting, everything's just going to work out here. And
with a head coach, by the way, who's never done the college football thing before.
And I was just about to say, congratulations, if you're listening to this podcast, you have coached as many college football games as Bill Belichick. And by college football games, I mean in any capacity. Mm-hmm. You have coached as many games as a coordinator, as an assistant. You have coached as many or more, because I know some college coaches do listen to this show. So you've either coached as many or more than him. And the biggest question mark here, I really like Bo Atkinson a lot as a he was a makeup on that defense. He really was. He's was a big concealer. Now. He's in Columbus now. So bye-bye. You're sitting here saying to yourself, where are the stars on this defense? Who are the guys that are going to make something happen? And that's
Kamari House, the Washington transfer at linebacker, he can be a star.
Can be.
As a freshman last year, he was a stud.
And here's the thing. I don't disagree. I think Kamari House has a very good career ahead of him. I am worried about the fact that if in situations like this, I tell people all the time, a special defender is so easy for an offense to hide or avoid, because you could say, no, wait a minute. They don't got no ball players around them. Hey, do not double this nose guard. Don't touch him. Climb to the linebacker immediately. When we snap the ball, I want you in House's lap immediately. I want you violating House like this is Dr. House and you took away his pills in 04. If you know, you know. But in all seriousness, that's one of those things where I look at this team from top to bottom, and it's not just their quarterback. What's going on with that situation? You could say Gio Lopez is the guy, but you've got multiple players that believe at least that they're going to push for that position. The dynamic playmakers on the outside, what do you have there? An offensive line that wasn't all that great last year, lost pieces. And who did they bring in that you would say this is a quality Power 4 starter?
Yeah.
I just don't see it.
You want to know what my favorite part about this list is? That I almost went super bold, but I like Miller Moss and I like Jeff Brom, so I wasn't going to put Louisville lower than 3. Georgia Tech at 4 is my favorite team that's my favorite placement on this particular list. You realize the games, it's unfortunate the Georgia game isn't going to be played on campus, which I think is ridiculous because they had to play on Georgia's campus a year ago, but all right, whatever. Georgia has home games, well, one home, one neutral, against Clemson and Georgia this year. They took Georgia to, 8 overtimes?
8 overtimes. Yeah.
8 overtimes last year. Clemson travels to Atlanta Saturday, September 13th. Conference championship implications right then and there. Your quick take on the Yellow Jackets, Kenton, because I like Brent Key. I like Haynes King. I like continuity. I don't love that they lost Eric Singleton Jr. to Auburn, but man, they're about running the ball anyway.
Their top-end talent can compete with anybody. Their top-end talent, they're one of the best in the conference. What is separating them from those top 3 teams, I would say, is the depth aspect of this thing. With all due respect to the guys at Georgia Tech, Key has done a hell of a job recruiting there. He has done a good job to land 4-star guys out of Georgia when the University of Georgia is doing what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Cinema. Absolute cinema. Great job. But with that being said, I am a little bit concerned because this team reminds me of where NC State was last year. The top end talent is there. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out.
I don't like that.
Hold on, Spencer. Hold on. Stay with. See,
All right, I'm here.
So hear me out. Last year I said NC State is going to be really good, except there are a couple of key positions where they cannot afford an injury or things will get catastrophic. And they had injuries at virtually all of those positions. I'm not saying that Georgia Tech will be that snake bitten. It literally took NC State's starting quarterback getting hurt, their starting Mike linebacker getting hurt to kind of make things unravel. And to most people, they would say your Mike linebacker and your quarterback, two most important positions in football, many people would argue. So I'm not saying, hey, Georgia Tech is going to have that exact same bug or anything like that. I'm worried that they could be there. I'm worried that with one or two injuries at some pivotal spots, all of a sudden you're looking at Georgia Tech saying, hey, can they get a stop? Hey, what's going on offensively? Like, can teams just load the box up with one more than they can block all the time? And is that it? It's kind of an interesting thing in that way. And I'll tell you, I love the kid from FIU that they got to replace Singleton. I think that he's a stud.
Rivers,
Rivers. He's a burner.
Rivers could be a gamer.
He could be in that potential exact same kind of role that Singleton was in last year. Again, top end talent, I think, can go with anybody. When you get past that top end talent, you're stuck scratching your head a little bit. And Georgia Tech fans know how much I love them. You know, I've had to apologize publicly for not talking about them enough because of how highly I think of them. But in all seriousness, that is a team that I look at and I kind of say, if health abides, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they have to be completely injury-free because there are some positions, offensive line in particular, they got studs. They got dudes everywhere, which is going to put you in a good position.
And they're going to run smash-mouth football right at your face, whether you like it or not.
Exactly. They can afford an injury or two on the offensive line, and they'll be okay. But it's some of the other positions that I look at. I'm like, you're one injury away from all of a sudden every receiver that looks at y'all sees lamb chops, baked beans, oxtails, good greens, mac and cheese, the gravy on the side. You know, it's a tough time.
Kenton's got me hungry, and I've got chicken, potatoes, and corn waiting in the fridge. I can't wait. Kenton Gibbs, who definitively declared on this show that I'm not crazy. So that's really a win. Appreciate everyone listening. I will see you next time. Until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.